Chosen one. You've got this person going so crazy trying to avoid exposure that they're threatening people just to keep their story from collapsing. And it's happening because the truth about you is finally breaking through every lie they built. This person's obsession with you ran so deep, they thought destroying you was the only way to get what they wanted. But now, receipts are coming out, and the one explanation left standing exposes them completely. You were innocent all along. 2 or more people met up and discussed you, planned how to access you, strategized how to poison your reputation, coordinated how to turn people against you, and someone close to you provided the keys to make it all happen. Someone you trusted committed the ultimate betrayal. Doors were opened, secrets were shared, access was granted, and the motivation was seduction by someone else's twisted vision. This person was persuaded that you were the problem, was manipulated into believing that your removal would solve everything. The person who betrayed you didn't just wake up one morning and decide to turn against you. A mind was poisoned. Conspirators sat this person down. Lies were fed systematically. A twisted version of you was presented. You were made to look like someone you could never be, and this person believed it, bought into the narrative so completely that reckless behavior became the norm. You saw the change happening. You noticed the distance growing. You recognized the behavior shift. You picked up on the fact that movement was different. Your connection was being treated recklessly. Maybe this person was being reckless in general, running around, acting out of control, and you possessed the wisdom to see what was really happening behind the scenes. But here's where your power shows up. You knew. You were wise enough to recognize manipulation from a distance. You understood that a mind was being corrupted. You saw through the game being played, and that wisdom is exactly what's destroying these people now. While plotting was happening, you were observing. While scheming was underway, you were learning. While manipulation was being deployed, you were staying authentic. And now the contrast between your truth and these lies is so stark that everyone can see it clearly. The person who got manipulated is waking up now. The fog is clearing, and a devastating realization is setting in. You were exactly who you always were, wide-eyed and innocent. The entire narrative was fabricated, and something real was damaged for something utterly fake. These people wanted to punish you, wanted you to feel rejected, wanted your plans to fail, wanted you struggling, wanted you isolated. Actual work was put into ensuring you would suffer. Your downfall was pursued like a full-time job. And these people almost convinced themselves of their own righteousness. The victim role was played masterfully. A whole performance was staged. These people made themselves look like protectors, warning others about how dangerous you were, like heroes in a story where you were cast as the villain. Information was abused to build the case against you. Pretenses were made about having insights that didn't exist, acting like receipts existed when everything was being fabricated. A great performance was given. Comments were fished for to bait people into providing ammunition. Information was pulled from thin air and presented as established fact. People are starting to search for themselves, looking for actual records, asking for real evidence, and these conspirators are coming up empty. You cannot provide evidence for events that never occurred. You cannot show receipts for complete fabrications. This is where the panic really intensifies. Such a big show was put on, so many people were convinced. The narrative was pushed so aggressively, and now backing it up is being demanded, and backing it up is impossible. So what do liars do when exposure looms? Turning on each other begins. The group that was so united in bringing you down is now fracturing. Fear is spreading. Someone to blame is being sought, and the realization is hitting that everyone is going down together. One person in this group is now threatening the others. Someone who participated in the conspiracy is using that information as leverage. Anger is brewing because plans didn't work out as expected. A feeling of being robbed is festering. A sense that something valuable was lost is growing. And now someone wants payment. Demands are being made. Exposure of everything is being threatened. Information is being held over the main betrayer's head, and absolute terror is the response. Because this angry conspirator knows everything. Every secret meeting, every lie that was told, every manipulation that happened, and revealing it all is being threatened. This is karma in its purest form. The same tactics used against you are being used against the conspirators. The fear attempted to be created in you is consuming them. The manipulation deployed on others is being deployed on them, and there's beautiful justice in that symmetry. The main betrayer is doing everything imaginable to keep this person quiet. Further compromises are being made. Promises are being offered. Things are being offered that were never wanted to be offered. Self-degradation is happening. Because exposure is the worst fear right now, and here's what's eating this person alive. Focus on personal life is impossible anymore. Sensory overload is constant. Concentration is gone. Nothing is getting done. Because too much energy is being spent trying to manage a situation, spiraling completely out of control. So what's the next move? Sweet talking is going to be attempted with this angry person. Intimacy might even be offered to maintain silence. Whatever is believed will work is going to be tried. Body might be used, words might be used, whatever leverage seems available will be deployed, because this person making threats is not playing games. Seriousness about the exposure is real. Detailed information is being kept. Evidence is being gathered. Documentation exists, and the main betrayer knows it. But here's what makes this even more complicated. The person who got manipulated into betraying you is caught in the middle of all this drama. Clear sight is starting to return. Recognition of being played is setting in, and the guilt is absolutely crushing. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. Different eyes are looking at you now. Your wisdom is being seen. Your character is being recognized. Understanding is dawning that you saw this coming from far away, and you were ignored because other voices were louder. Now sickness is setting in because wanting you back is happening. But dirty hands are visible, and knowing you can see them is devastating. This person is tired of drama now, tired of being caught up in toxic situations, tired of dealing with consequences of believing lies, and the realization is dawning that all this chaos started when turning away from you happened. Listen to how desperate this is getting. The main betrayer is willing to compromise personal values just to keep this angry person quiet. Things are being offered that were sworn would never be offered. Actions are being taken that were claimed would never be taken. Lines that were called sacred are being crossed, all because terror exists about what happens when truth comes out. This person threatening has receipts, real receipts, not the fabricated kind used against you, actual documentation, actual proof, actual evidence of what happened behind closed doors, and the main betrayer knows it. That's why panic is so intense. The angry conspirator is holding all the cards now. Watching the main person squirm is happening. Watching begging occur is satisfying. Watching self-degradation unfold is being observed. And there's a sick satisfaction in it. Because this is the same person who convinced participation in attacking you. This is the same person who promised everything would work out. This is the same person who led everyone into this mess. So now payback is wanted, suffering is desired to match personal suffering. Panic is wanted to match personal panic. Exposure is threatened to match the exposure of truth about the whole conspiracy, and the main person is caught. Threatening this person won't work because too much information exists. Cutting this person off would definitely trigger the exposure. Control is impossible because control requires leverage that no longer exists, so all that's left is appeasement. Keeping calm is the only option. Preventing the inevitable is all that's being attempted, but you know what's really eating this person alive. This position exists because of personal choices. Nobody forced participation in conspiring against you. Nobody made poisoning someone's mind mandatory. Nobody twisted arms to participate in destroying an innocent person. This was done voluntarily, and now consequences are being faced for choices voluntarily made. With every search for dirt on you, proof of your innocence is found instead. Every time validation of the narrative is attempted, facts contradict everything. Every angle explored leads back to one conclusion: you didn't do what was claimed. The only story making sense now is your actual innocence, wide-eyed and innocent. That's it. No other version works. No other explanation holds up. And that reality is their worst nightmare. Because your innocence means guilt for them. Your truth exposes lies. Your character reveals manipulation. And there's no way around it. The more anyone looks into this situation, the clearer it becomes that you were set up. This is why the main person has sensory overload. This is why functioning is impossible, because everything was built on sand. Reputation was staked on lies. People were convinced to turn against you based on fabrications, and now everything is collapsing. Finding something real against you would actually be preferred. Then at least justification could exist for actions taken. Then at least behavior would make sense. But there's nothing there. Because you are who you are, authentic, real, and no amount of digging will change that. Think about how wild this is. All this trouble was taken, all these meetings happened, all these conversations occurred, all this coordination took place, and for what? To attack someone genuinely innocent. That's the reality staring everyone in the face now. Personal credibility was destroyed attacking someone who never deserved it. You know what's really getting under their skin? The fact that you were smarter than all of them combined. While gossip and plotting were happening, you were observing, you picked up on patterns, you recognized manipulation tactics, you saw how minds were being poisoned, and you understood the game being played better than the people playing it. You were underestimated, naivety was assumed, non-awareness was expected, figuring it out was deemed impossible. But you did. You saw everything. You understood exactly what was happening, and you had the wisdom to not react the way they wanted you to react, because that's what was wanted. Lashing out was desired from you. Fighting back messily was hoped for. Ammunition was wanted from you to use against you. Baiting was happening. A reaction was being provoked that could be twisted and used to validate lies. But you didn't give them that. You stayed calm. You stayed centered. You stayed in your truth, and that drove them absolutely crazy, because understanding how someone being attacked so viciously could remain so peaceful was impossible for them. Comprehension of how you weren't falling apart the way they wanted was beyond them. Now understanding is starting to dawn. You weren't falling apart because you knew the truth. You weren't panicking because nothing existed to hide. You weren't defending yourself desperately because your character speaks for itself. And that stability in the face of their chaos is what's exposing them now. People are looking at the contrast, how you handled pressure versus how these conspirators are handling exposure is being noticed. How you stayed consistent while these people are changing stories is being recognized. The difference between someone living in truth and people living in lies is becoming clear. The conspirators are realizing stupidity was involved. Information wasn't verified personally. Searching for actual truth didn't happen. Believing what was wanted to be believed was all that occurred. And now the recognition is setting in that mistakes were massive. Some are reflecting now. Recognition of bad choices is happening. Massive regret is setting in. The realization is dawning of how obsession and envy drove participation in doing something terrible to someone genuinely innocent. And the person most obsessed with you, personal karma is being dealt with now. Someone is angry with them. Someone is threatening them. Someone is promising to expose them publicly. Humiliation is being promised. Making sure everyone knows what was done is being guaranteed. And terror is the response. Hands are so dirty now, stained with betrayal, marked by manipulation, covered in evidence of what was participated in, and everyone can see it. You can see it. The person who got manipulated can see it. Other people are starting to see it, and washing it off is impossible. So what's about to happen? Fake apologies are coming. The main person is going to attempt to make things right with the angry conspirator. Acting sorry is going to happen. Acting like care exists is going to occur. Acting like fixing things is desired is going to be performed, but manipulation is all it is. Buying time is the only real goal. More time to get rid of evidence is wanted. More time to cover tracks is desired. More time to prepare for the exposure that's known to be coming is needed. Making things right isn't actually wanted. Getting exposed is what's not wanted. And faking friendship with this person might be attempted. Pretending care exists might happen. Acting like being on the same side is occurring, might be performed, all while trying to figure out what this person actually knows. Assessing damage is happening. Planning the next move is underway. But here's what isn't understood. You can't control someone who has nothing to lose. You can't manipulate someone who has already decided to burn everything down. And this angry person, ready to burn it all down, is the state of mind. Meanwhile, the situation keeps getting messier. Drama involving someone else is happening now. Toxic behavior coming back around is occurring. Being involved with unhealthy people is backfiring. The whole thing is a toxic cycle getting progressively worse. The person who betrayed you is trapped in this cycle. Escaping to something better was believed to be happening. Removing you from life was thought to solve problems, but new problems were just created. Worse problems, problems that can't be escaped from. Potential legal issues are being dealt with now. Drama that could blow up publicly is brewing. Things that could damage reputation permanently are developing, and the realization is setting in that everything fell apart when turning away from you happened. Looking at you now reveals what was lost. How you were actually grounding this person is being seen. How you were actually good for this person is being recognized. How you were actually the stable one is being understood. And now being caught up with people who are unstable is the reality. Toxic people, manipulative people, dangerous people. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. Now run competition and scarcity and repurposing it to... You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Here's what's really happening to the person who got manipulated away from you. Waking up in a nightmare of personal creation is occurring. Every passing moment brings clearer sight of how badly being played happened. Every conversation reminds of lies that were believed. Every interaction with these toxic people shows what was given up when walking away from you occurred. These conspirators' caring was believed. Being rescued from something bad was thought to be happening. You being the problem and these people being the solution was accepted. But now the truth is being seen. These people didn't care about protection. These people cared about removing you. And once you were gone, once purpose was served, true colors were shown. The person who betrayed you is being treated badly now. really badly. The same people who convinced you that you were toxic are showing what toxic actually looks like. The same people who said you were manipulative are manipulating in ways you never did. The same people who warned about you are now the biggest warning signs present, and talking about it isn't even possible, because who's going to sympathize? Turning back on you based on lies happened. Damaging a real connection for fake promises occurred. Manipulation was chosen over authenticity. Now living with the consequences of that choice is required. The obsessed person who wanted you gone is showing true nature now. Without you as the common enemy, without the conspiracy to unite everyone, the mask is slipping, and the person who betrayed you is seeing what you saw all along. This person is sick, controlling, possessive, dangerous. Patterns are being recognized now. How this obsessed person isolated from you is clear. How the narrative about who you were was controlled is understood. How conversations and relationships were monitored is evident. How dependency was created while freedom was pretended to be offered is obvious. Everything is becoming crystal clear. And the guilt is unbearable. Because you tried to tell them, you tried to warn them, you saw this coming from so far away, and listening didn't happen. Believing someone who barely knew them over someone who genuinely cared was chosen. Trusting lies over truth was selected. And now paying the price is required. But here's what's really driving them crazy. While drowning in this mess is happening for them, you're rising. You're ascending to a higher purpose. You're beyond reach now. Feeling like you're completely out of their league is what's happening. Like you've elevated to a place that can't be accessed is how it seems to them. You're not stressed like this is for them. You're not crambling like this is for them. You're not compromising yourself like this is happening for them. You're just existing in your truth, walking in your purpose, being who you've always been, and that steadiness is making their chaos look even more chaotic by comparison. People are noticing the contrast, how peaceful you are, how focused you are, how unbothered you are. While breakdowns and panic attacks and desperate conversations are happening for them, you're just moving forward. And that's the loudest testimony to your innocence. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to fight for your reputation. Your character is doing all that for you. Your consistency is speaking louder than their lies ever could. And watching you be respected while scrambling for credibility is happening for them. Seeing you build while trying to keep lies from collapsing is their experience. Witnessing you thrive while barely surviving is what they're going through, and showing them exactly what was lost when betraying you was chosen is what's happening. The main conspirator is watching your life unfold, and torture is what it feels like. Every good thing happening to you feels like a personal attack on them. Every door opening for you feels like a door closing for them. Every blessing you receive feels like confirmation of their curse. Expecting you to fall apart was what happened. Needing you to fall apart was what existed. Because your failure would have validated the attack, your struggle would have justified the conspiracy, your destruction would have made sense of the obsession, but none of that happened. Instead, you got stronger, you got wiser, you got more connected to your purpose, you became more of who you were always meant to be. And they can't stand it, they can't comprehend it, they can't accept it. People are gravitating toward you now in ways that never happened before. Real people, authentic people, people who see your character and respect it, people who recognize your truth and honor it, people who understand your journey and support it. You're building a circle of genuine connections while their circle is falling apart. This is what's really destroying them. Not just that the plan failed, but that backfiring happened so spectacularly. Isolating you was wanted, and instead isolating themselves is what occurred. Damaging your reputation was desired, and instead destroying their own is what happened. Seeing you fall was hoped for, and instead watching you fly is their reality. This is divine justice in real time. The universe corrects what was corrupted. Every lie being exposed, every manipulation comes to light, every secret being revealed. And you didn't have to do anything except stay true to yourself. The person threatening to expose is going to do exactly what's being threatened. The truth is going to come out. The evidence is going to surface. The full story is going to be told. And everyone involved in the conspiracy is going to face consequences. You're not involved in the exposure. You're not the one seeking revenge. You're not plotting anyone's downfall. The universe is handling that for you. Personal actions are creating personal consequences for them. Personal lies are destroying personal credibility for them. This is what happens when you're aligned with truth, when you're walking in purpose, when you're protected by something bigger than human schemes. You don't have to fight your battles, they fight themselves. Watch how this unfolds. The angry conspirator is going to lose patience with fake apologies and empty promises. A breaking point is going to be reached where keeping the secret hurts more than revealing it. And when that moment comes, everything is going to come pouring out. The main betrayer knows this is coming, feeling it is happening, sensing the shift is occurring. Telling the angry person is done playing games is evident, and stopping it is impossible. All manipulation tactics are failing. All sweet talk is falling flat. All promises are being seen for what they are. Desperate attempts to control the uncontrollable. The universe has a way of using weapons against those who created them. Secrets were used as weapons against you. Now secrets are being used as weapons against them. Manipulation was deployed to turn people against you. Now manipulation is turning people against them. Lies were used to attack your character. Now lies are destroying reputation for them. This is cosmic justice. This is divine order. This is karma completing its perfect cycle. And you get to witness it without lifting a finger. You get to watch consequences being faced without seeking revenge. You get to see truth prevail without fighting for it. Here's what's about to happen when the angry conspirator starts talking. The first domino is going to fall, and knocking down every other domino in the line is going to happen. One person's confession is going to trigger another person's panic. That panic is going to lead to more confessions. Those confessions are going to reveal more participants. More participants means more exposure. More exposure means more consequences. The main betrayer is terrified of this domino effect, because knowing how many dominoes exist is their reality. Knowing how many people were involved is their burden. Knowing how deep this conspiracy went is their knowledge. And knowing that once it starts coming out, stopping it becomes impossible is their terror. People who thought safety existed because minor roles were played are about to realize safety doesn't exist at all, because when the full story comes out, everyone's role becomes visible. Everyone's participation gets exposed. Everyone's contribution to your attack gets revealed. Some of these people are already trying to distance themselves, already trying to rewrite involvement, already trying to minimize participation, but too late is what it is. The angry conspirator has receipts on all of them. Evidence of who said what exists. Proof of who did what is documented. Documentation of who participated is kept. And you know what's beautiful about this? You're not in the middle of it. You're not managing the exposure. You're not coordinating the revelation. You're not orchestrating justice. Everything is happening without your involvement. Everything is unfolding without your effort. Everything is manifesting without your manipulation. So where does this leave you? In a position of complete victory. Not because fighting dirty happened, not because manipulating outcomes occurred, but because you stayed clean while getting dirty happened to them. You maintained integrity while losing theirs happened to them. You walked in truth while drowning in lies happened to them. The person who betrayed you might come back. Wanting to apologize might happen. Wanting another chance might occur. And you'll know exactly what to do, because seeing them clearly is happening now. You see dirty hands, you see compromised character, you see who someone really is when pressure is applied, and you understand something powerful. You don't need them. You don't need validation from them. You don't need presents from them in your life, because you've been elevated to a place where anyone who turned their back during your test doesn't deserve to celebrate with you during your triumph. The conspirators are learning the hard lesson. You can't defeat someone the universe is defending. You can't destroy someone destiny has chosen. You can't stop someone purpose has positioned. All that can be done is exposing yourself while trying to expose someone else. And that's exactly what happened, trying to expose you as something you're not occurred. And in the process, exposing themselves as exactly what they are, happened. Manipulators, liars, conspirators, people who abuse information and poison minds and destroy innocent people for personal gain. But you're standing clean, clear, vindicated, with your reputation intact, with your character proven, with your innocence established beyond any doubt. And that's a position no one can touch. That's a victory no one can take from you. That's a power no one can diminish. So let them panic, let them scramble, let them threaten each other, let them expose each other, let them drown in consequences of personal actions. While all that is happening, you just keep walking forward, keep ascending, keep being exactly who you were created to be. Because chosen one, this was never about them defeating you. This was about them revealing themselves. This was never about you being destroyed. This was about you being refined. This was never about you losing. This was about you learning who deserves to be in your life when reaching the next level happens. And now you know. Now you see clearly. Now you understand who can be trusted and who can't. Who has your back and who will stab it, who stays solid and who gets shaky when pressure is applied. And that knowledge is worth everything you went through. They're going crazy because being exposed is happening. They're threatening people because desperation exists. They're doing everything possible to not be revealed as the liars and manipulators they are. But it's not working. The truth is coming out anyway. Justice is being served anyway. Karma is completing its cycle anyway, and you're standing on the other side of it all, untouched, unbothered, unstoppable, exactly where you were always meant to be. An entire conspiracy was built on the foundation of lies about you. People were convinced to turn against you. Minds were manipulated. Relationships were poisoned. Attacks were coordinated. Performances were staged. Victim roles were played. Hero acts were performed. And all of it was designed to destroy you. But here's what was never counted on. You being exactly who you are. Wide-eyed and innocent. Genuine. Real. Authentic. Someone who couldn't be what was claimed because that's simply not who you are. Your character was your shield. Your truth was your weapon. Your integrity was your protection. And none of their schemes could penetrate that. None of their lies could diminish that. None of their attacks could change that. So now living in the nightmare they created is their reality. The person they're most afraid of isn't you. It's the angry conspirator threatening to tell the truth. The situation they're most panicked about isn't your revenge. It's their own exposure. The thing they're most desperate to avoid isn't your attack. It's consequences of personal actions. This is what happens when messing with someone protected by something bigger than human understanding occurs. This is what unfolds when attacking someone walking in divine purpose happens. This is what manifests when conspiring against someone aligned with universal truth takes place. You don't have to do anything. The universe does it for you. Justice serves itself. Truth defends itself. Karma completes itself. And you just get to watch it happen while continuing to rise. The obsession that started this whole thing has come full circle. Obsession with destroying you existed. Now obsession with personal destruction is what they have. Focus on your downfall happened. Now witnessing personal downfall is occurring. Plotting your exposure took place. Now experiencing personal exposure is happening. You're free from toxicity, free from manipulation, free from lies, free from attacks, free from conspiracy, free to be exactly who you were always meant to be. That freedom is your victory. That peace is your power. That elevation is your evidence. evidence that you were never what was said about you, evidence that they were exactly what you knew them to be, evidence that truth always wins in the end. So, chosen one, walk in that truth, stand in that power, live in that freedom, because you earned it through your integrity, you deserve it because of your character, you received it through your authenticity, and everyone who tried to take that from you is now learning the hardest lesson. You can't destroy what the universe is building, you can't tear down what destiny is elevating, you can't stop what purpose is propelling forward. They're going crazy because being exposed is their reality. They're threatening people because desperation consumes them. They're doing everything possible to avoid the inevitable, but coming anyway is what it is. The exposure is happening, the truth is emerging, the justice is manifesting, and you're standing victorious. Not because seeking revenge happened, but because staying righteous occurred. Not because fighting back took place, but because standing firm happened. Not because manipulating outcomes was done, but because maintaining character was chosen. That's the power of being chosen. That's the protection of walking in purpose. That's the victory of living in truth. And that's exactly what has them going absolutely crazy.